All right, so let's add a second user to, basically this is how you can add a user to the NixOS system, a new user. So we are going to, unsurprisingly, use our configuration file. So we're going to vim into our etc NixOS configuration.nix. So let's jump up here and search for a username. All right, this is the user I'm logged in as now. So we want to, I'm just going to copy this. So we have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lines. So 8 YY P, paste it right down here. We're going to create a new user called user2. Change the name right here. Giving it, so it is in the group network manager so that the user can configure the network. Also in the wheel group, allowing it to use sudo and probably even the su command. So packages pre-installed for this user, none. We have Thunderbird commented out. That doesn't need to be there at all. That's not necessary, but it shows that's like a placeholder. Anyways, user 1 and user 2. This is our new user. Now, by default, it's not going to have a password. So before we apply this change, let's just save. Before we apply this change, we're going to need to add a password to this. So you can say mkpasswd. Now, you're going to want to keep this secure. -- method equals SHA-512. And we can type in a password. Let's just say something like okay, it is not displaying it on the screen, but all right, here's our password hash. So I put an insecure password in there. It generates this hash. Now the actual clear text password itself is never stored on the system. This password hash, you still don't want to, like, someone could get this password hash and they can't use this to log in. If someone's able to type the password, it goes through, the encryption method with salt and all that stuff. And the resulting hash is the same as this. The system knows you have the password and will let you in. So this can be used to verify that someone knows the password, but this can't be used as the password. So if someone steals this, they can't use it as the password. However, if they have this, they could run it through a password cracker, and if the password is in a dictionary, they're going to crack it and find out what the password is. And if through brute force, they could theoretically eventually find it, depending on how complex the password is. So you still want to keep this private, but this is not the password itself, right? This can't be used to log in. It is not the password, but you do need to keep it private. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and edit our configuration file. And all right, so our user is right here. What you're going to want to do is add, all right, so we're going to type password right here, and we are going to paste it right in here. Shift, right click, paste. And yeah, otherwise, normally you would just right click and paste, but it's going to go into visual. Vim will go into visual mode if we do that. Kind of not what I want. So until I fix that in my Vim config, I'm just going to have to shift right click and then paste from there. So we're going to put this in quotes. Whoops. Put our hash in quotes here, and this should work. So hashed password here. We're going to save this config file, and then we are going to apply the config. So sudo nixos -rebuild switch. It does not like my syntax. All right, so looks like we are going to need to set a password. It is hashed password. Let's build that again. All right, so looks like I was missing a semicolon. So you do need a semicolon in here. Save that and let's try one more time. There we go. Success. Now, if we didn't want to put the password in there, if we didn't want to put that hashed password option in there, instead we could have said sudo passwd user2 to set the password for user2, but that's not something you can replicate as easy, and I feel like that's not the right way. Although there is an advantage to that. The advantage is you wouldn't be saving your hash in your config file. You don't want to make these hashes public. So if you have your config file and you store it on GitHub or you make it public or anything like that, you're making your hash public. Given you can't log in just with the hash, but if this is a password you want to keep secret and you put this hash on the internet or something like that, someone can crack it, your password can end up in a in a dictionary file or something like that. So yeah, you might want to be careful not to make this public. That's one of the disadvantages of using this line. Using the hash password line in your config file is a security risk. So if you make this file public or allow people to see this file, they could theoretically crack the password. So just be careful of that, so that's something to be aware of. And if you were to just say password like this and your user, that would be a whole lot more secure. So just to be aware of. So, although that password hash is going to be stored in your Etsy shadow file. So if you keep your config file as secure as your Etsy shadow file, then you're not going to have an issue. So sudo Etsy shadow, there's your hash right there. Running that, applying that configuration, place the hash in there, right? So yeah, just some security considerations. So let's try SUing to that user2. There we go. We are now user2. So we can log in as that user, but that's not enough. I'd actually like to see if I can log in on the desktop as that user. So let's log out. And here we go. We have the option for user2. There we go. Wants us to take this tour. Let's skip it. Okay, here we go. And notice our UI scaling is a little bit different. All right, anyways, that is how I'm going to log back out and get back to the other user. So that's how you create a new user in NixOS. So that's about it for today. So, might want to give me a thumbs up if you found this video useful or interesting. Definitely leave a comment down below if you know something I don't know, or any comments, questions, anything you want to say. But also make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our other great tech content. Also hit the bell icon so you actually get a notification if we do come out with new content. We're going to be doing a ton of other great content, lots of Linux stuff, still doing Windows and Mac OS. We're also doing like hardware, software, electronics, servers, desktops, 3D printing, Raspberry Pis, robots, networking, and all that great stuff. So you don't want to miss out. Make sure you're subscribed and hit the bell icon. But that's about it for today. So as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys on that next video.